Chi Cheng was breaking inside. He walked slowly toward Wu Suowei, who was trembling from silent sobs. Without saying a word, he grabbed a handful of Wu Suowei's hair and yanked his head back, forcing his teary eyes upward at a sharp, uncomfortable angle. "Don't cry," Chi Cheng said, his voice low but stern. "Do you hear me?" But Wu Suowei wasn't hearing anything. His world was muffled by grief. His tears just kept falling slow, steady, relentless. Chi Cheng's jaw clenched. His emotions spiraled out of control. Without thinking, he brought his hand down with a firm smack across Wu Suowei's backside. "I told you to stop crying. Did you hear me?" His voice cracked not from anger but from desperation, but it only made things worse. The soundless weeping turned into broken sobs. The sobs turned into cries. The cries exploded into howling ... and each sound Wu Suowei made tore down Chi Cheng's emotional walls, brick by brick. The man who once delivered cruel words found himself powerless now. He could no longer hurt Wu Suowei, not when Wu Suowei was falling apart like this. His fingers released their grip on Wu's hair. Instead, he pulled Wu Suowei into a trembling embrace. His hand reached gently for Wu's cheeks, wiping away the steady stream of tears. His voice softer than it had ever been, uncontrollably tender, filled with remorse. Wei, stop crying now," he whispered, his words fragile, breaking. But Wu Suowei couldn't stop. He didn't want to. These tears had been waiting for days. He had swallowed them every time he put on a brave face. Every time he told himself he didn't care. Every time Chi Cheng's silence hurt more than his anger ever could. And now, finally, in Chi Cheng's arms, he was safe enough to let it all out. Chi watched helplessly. The more he watched, the more his own eyes turned red. His own voice started to tremble. "Baby, let's not cry anymore, okay?" But Wu Suowei couldn't even answer. He choked on his sobs, gasping for air between each breathless cry. He was breaking down. Right there, completely, utterly broken. There was no one else to hold him. Just Chi Cheng. One shoulder. One embrace. That was all Wu Suowei had left. Wei, I'm here." His voice was aching now. Soft, cracked, vulnerable. "Listen to me. Don't cry anymore." Chi Cheng's heart had nothing left. There was no room for pride. No room for anger, no space for the cheating, no memory of the harsh words he'd spoken. All of that disappeared. All that remained was this boy crying in his arms, this love. "I'm here, baby," Chi Cheng whispered again. "I'm here." The room was quiet except for Wu Suowei's cries. But slowly, gradually, Chi Cheng's arms started to steady him. His breathing slowed. The tears still fell. But the storm was calming, and for the first time in days, Wu Suowei didn't feel alone. Chi Cheng would hold him for as long as he needed. Until the sobs turned to silence. Until the silence turned to peace. Until Wu Suowei could breathe again. And when that moment came, Chi would still be there. Because sometimes, love isn't in the words. It's in the breaking. It's in the holding. It's in the staying. Even after everything. Gang Zi had known Chi Cheng for years, long enough to understand him without a single word being spoken. Chi didn't need to explain things. Not really. His expressions, the way he moved, even the smallest twitch of his fingers, Gang Zi could read it all. And right now, it was obvious. Just from the way Chi Cheng was unfastening and refastening his belt. Gang Zi knew. His hands were itching. Gang raised an eyebrow. A dry smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. "He can't satisfy you?" Chi Cheng didn't answer immediately. He turned to look out the window, jaw tense, voice low, deep, rich, filled with that same masculine weight he always carried. "He can, but..." He paused. "It's just the needs of my hands." Gang Zi got it, instantly, he always did. Chi Cheng wasn't talking about desire in the ordinary sense. He was referring to his personal urge, the darkness in him. The twisted pleasure he used to indulge in. Pain, power, control. The satisfaction of abusing, of pushing someone until they broke. That was what Chi Cheng meant. Did you talk to him about it? Gang Zi asked casually. Or, he added, leaning forward slightly, you could just grab the chance while he's feeling it. Then guide him. Slowly. Bring him into your world. He wasn't being sarcastic. He was being honest. He knew Chi Cheng better than anyone. And he also knew Wu Suowei might be different. Honestly, Gang said, almost admiringly. Among all your exes, his body type. Top notch, and that attitude of his. He laughed quietly to himself. He's got fire. He's stubborn. He could take the blows. You and I both know that. Gang Zi expected a smirk, a smug nod, a wicked plan forming. But Chi Cheng just stared straight ahead, silent. Finally, he spoke. I can't do it. 3 simple words, but they hit Gang Zi like a slap. What? He blinked. Why not? This was Chi Cheng. The Chi Cheng who used to be a storm. The man who once left people trembling just from his touch. The same man who had never once hesitated to get what he wanted, no matter how dark, how cruel. Now he was saying he couldn't do it? Why? Kai's answer came softly, but it left Gang Zi completely stunned. Because he will definitely cry. Gang stared. His mouth parted slightly, but no words came out. Cry? That was the reason? He let out a breathless scoff. Are you serious? He leaned back in disbelief, one hand running through his hair. Chi Cheng. Since when do you care about someone crying? He paused. You've made plenty of people cry before. Some begged, some screamed. What's different now? But he already knew. He just didn't want to admit it. Wu Suowei was different. There was something about him, something that softened Chi Cheng's sharpest edges. Gang Zi could see it. And he hated it. Because it meant the man he once knew, the wild, unpredictable, terrifying Chi Cheng, was disappearing. And in his place was someone else entirely. A man who held back, a man who thought twice, a man who feared seeing the person he loved in tears. Gang tried again. Seriously? What, are his tears made of gold? But Chi didn't answer, because deep down, they were, to Chi Cheng, Wu Suowei's tears weren't just droplets of sadness. They were rare, precious, proof that he mattered. Maybe loving someone, truly loving them, meant letting go of the monster inside. And even Gang Zi had to admit, Wu Suowei was the only one who had ever made Chi Cheng want to be better. And that meant everything. Subscribe for more powerful voiceovers and emotional moments. Comment below. Do you think she made the right choice? Like this video if it hit you right in the heart. And share it with someone who loves deep, complex love stories too.